This is the walkthrough video guide for the petition for dissolution of marriage without children. This is the form app you will use if you got married, but your marriage did not produce any children together. You have no minor children with your current spouse. Also, something you need to be aware of, this form is very good. It's Adobe. It uses the Adobe free reader program, PDF, that everybody has on their computer. Okay, it's not made for a phone or a tablet. It'll probably work on a phone or a tablet. It just won't work very well. Use a computer. Any computer will do, Mac or PC. All right, so let's take a look at the questionnaire. Mostly everybody knows what county they live in, but not everybody knows what circuit they live in. I've taken care of that for you. See this big, huge red button? Go to the Member Start page, scroll down here, and look at the Judicial Circuit page. You know what county you live in. Let's say you live in Charlotte County. So we click on Charlotte, do the acknowledgments. Now you know you're in the 20th Judicial Circuit. Okay, Charlotte County's in the 20th Circuit. But you also need to know the address of the clerk's office. Okay, you're in Charlotte County. That's this one here. Take this and use the old right-click copy. That's all you need. 20th Circuit. All right, so circuit in caps. So put the caps lock on. Type it. Don't do... Go ahead and do it. Use the actual word. County, Charlotte. And we right-clicked. We can just paste the clerk's address. You have everything you need. Petitioner. Let's see. Petitioner has to be in caps too. All right, we'll use that. Okay, so husband or wife, put it not in caps, in lowercase. He's the husband. His address, let's say he lives in Port Charlotte. Okay, that's the address. Okay, the city, state, and zip goes here. Oh, that's Punta Gorda. Let's say 9-4. All right. Date of birth. Let's say old Fred, I don't know, let's say he's 30 years old. Let's give him a date. I'm making it up, obviously. Social, put your social here. Middle is 2. And telephone number. Fred should put his telephone number here. Put your telephone number there. Now, fax number, it used to be everybody had a fax machine and it was widely used. Now a lot of people aren't using faxes anymore. It was part of the form. That's why I put it there. If you don't have one, you don't have one, leave it blank. Most of this you really do need to fill out though. Petitioner's email, should put the email down. Everybody's using them nowadays. Respondent's name in caps, so capitalize. She's the wife. Date of birth, I don't know, let's say May. Put her social, if you know it. If you're filing this and you don't know the respondent's social, don't put it down. But if you do know it, put it down. It may help you later. You might need it for a form or something. And put Wilma's email address. Telephone number. Fax number, she doesn't have a fax number. Let's say she moved out. She left Fred. And she moved to, I don't know, Venice. And her county is Sarasota, because Venice is in Sarasota County. All right. The date fields that I have here, only fill these out if you have a notary standing by and you know the documents are going to be notarized the same day you fill them out. I tell people go ahead and leave this out. But if you're in a real big hurry, you want to get it done real quick and the notary's standing by, go ahead and fill them out. And the reason why the dates are here in 3 different ways is because I could not interlink these fields. these forms, some of them say the blank day of blank, some of them have it this way, and some of them have it the normal way. So you have to do it all three ways. It's a pain, but believe me, it's a whole lot faster than using the clerk's packet. So let's say today, I'm just making up a day, is the first day of June 2019, and June 1st, 2019, and then you do it the normal way, June 1st, 2019. Other countries reverse these two, don't worry about it. Date of marriage, I don't know, let's say they were married, I don't know, 2012. So let's say they were married Christmas Day, 12/25, 2012. Day of separation, let's say they got separated this month. You don't have to have the actual date if you don't have it, but if you have an actual date, put it there. But June 2019 is just fine. Okay. Place of marriage, put where you were married. For these guys, let's say they got married in Punta Gorda. Okay. Are there children in the marriage? Well, we all know Fred and Wilma had a baby. Pebbles was her name. But for purposes of this form, we're going to say no. What's a private process server? A private process server is the person that's certified to hand a copy of the summons and petition and all these documents to the other side to prove that they've been served. It's an essential part of due process. Okay, the sheriff will do process serving, but also there are people certified in the community that'll do it. When you might want to go with a private process server is if you've got a little sheriff's department and they're real busy. It might take longer. It's usually a few bucks more, but usually not very much. Let's say that old Fred, he's a cheapskate. He's going to use the sheriff's department. So the answer is no. Sheriff is yes. Which county? Well, he's going to need Sarasota County. That's where she lives. Okay. Are there any related cases? If there's a child support or a DV case, of course there wouldn't be child support in this case, but if there's a domestic violence case, you put it in there. Okay, if there is, you fill out the Notice of Related Cases form. The reason for the Notice of Related Cases form is, let's say they had kids and there was a child support case, and the child support case is not the same court as the family case. You've got a family judge and you have a child support judge. You don't want the family judge saying, okay, child support's $100. And the Department of Revenue child support case judge is saying, oh, well, it's $500. Well, okay, which is it? You don't want two different judges deciding the same thing. That's why they have this. That lets the court know, gives them notice that there are related cases. All right, in this instance, no, there's not. All right, and look, everything's done here for you. Okay, it's all filled out. This is the vital statistics form. Okay, take a look. This is the summons. It's done. Everything's done for you. Okay. You also need to do a financial affidavit. Okay, you're not done here. You wouldn't print it just yet. Scroll down to the financial affidavit and fill that out. And the reason why you want to do it here like this is because I've created the form to do the math for you. You don't have to worry about running around and finding a calculator. This is all done. Okay, parties have no children. It's already checked. It's done. Okay. All right, and see how the date's already in here? Well, you put the date in the first day of June. If you weren't sure that you had a notary standing by, you just leave this blank, okay? And delete it from the top part. Don't put it in. All right, so this is the financial affidavit. People look at this form and they freak out. They think it's going to take me days. It is not, okay? Your only obligation is to put what, not how much per se, because if you put what it is, you can always find out how much it is. I'll give you an example in just a moment. Let's say Fred is a rock crusher, and he works for Mr. Slate. Business address, just put down the address where he works. Let's say Street. Okay, now everything here in the financial affidavit is done monthly. Okay, don't do this weekly. I know there's opportunities to check these boxes. Don't do that. Okay, you do monthly. It's a whole lot easier. Okay, so let's say his gross, not his net, but his gross is $3,000 a month. What's the difference? A lot of people don't actually know what the difference is. I'll just tell you. The gross is what Mr. Slate pays Fred. Okay, that's the amount he's paid. Okay, we all know that taxes is taken out, insurance might be taken out, union dues, whatever. It's taken out. But the gross is $3,000. This isn't what goes in Fred's pocket. Fred doesn't get $3,000 a month after taxes, etc. come out. Maybe he's got $2,500 or whatever. Okay, we'll figure that out later on. All right, so monthly it's $3,000. Put that same amount here. Okay. Now, as you can see, that field is interlinked, but also with additions. Let's say Fred also gets money from a royalty or a trust or something. Okay, let's say he's making $500. All right, now it's 35. See how it does the math for you? Okay. Now, a lot of people, they have a pay stub for this next part, but let's say you don't have a pay stub. I'm going to assume that you don't have a pay stub handy. And you're allowed to do approximations, and I actually put in here some figures, maybe approximations to help you out. But if you don't have a pay stub handy, you take that gross amount, okay, the amount Mr. Slate pays him. We want to find the net, so we're going to use the gross to find the net. All right, so we know it's $3,500. Mr. Slate pays the $3,000. He gets the $500 from the other source, okay? And so what we're going to do is we're going to take our handy-dandy calculator. This part you do need a calculator, times 0.15, because you're ballparking it, okay? 525. So it did the math for, it'll do the math for you later on when we get to putting it in. So we've got 3,500 times 0.15, 525. That's our estimated taxes, okay? And I've explained here what you're doing, so a court will know what you did, and this is perfectly fine. You can provide pay stubs later on, all right? Like I said, what it is not as important. The amount it is not as important as what it is. You have to list what it is, not the amount, okay? 525, you'll put that in line 19. The instructions on what to do are here. Let's put it in line 19. Okay, and it does the math for you. So 525 is your taxes. Now, if you do have this information, your union dues, if he does have a pay stub, put it all in here. It'll do the math for you. Let's say there were Medicare payments. Okay, see how it did the math? All right, it'll do the math for you. All right, so now it's $3,000 is what his net is because we've taken out the taxes. All right, $2,975 is going in his pocket. All right, remember, you're always going to round to the nearest dollar. I created this form, and if you use decimals, sometimes it gets mad. All right, and it's okay, perfectly okay to round to the nearest dollar. So for example, I put an example at the top part here. If you've got $1.95, you put $2. All right. If it's 5 and above, you put the next whole number up. So 5 and above, you put 2. If it's 4 and below, you put the lower amount. Okay. We know they're approximations. You do the best you can. All right. The rest of this, real easy. What's Fred's mortgage or rent? Let's say he pays $1,000. Property taxes is included. Utilities, $200. Telephone, I don't know, $250. He pays a lot. Food, let's say Fred eats a lot, so he spends $700 a month on food, meals outside the home, drive-thrus, whatnot. All right, so as it pertains to maintenance and repairs and automobile repairs, things of that nature, the form asks for a monthly amount. All right, so let's say once during the year Fred had to repair the roof and it cost $1,200. We're not going to put $1,200 here. We need it monthly. All right, so what you do is you take the $1,200, divide by 12, and it's $100. So you break it apart as if you did budget it, and you paid it off monthly. Okay, so let's look at another example of that. Let's say for his car, he had to buy tires and brakes. Okay, and that cost him $2,400, but he only did it once. Let's divide that by 12 months because we want a monthly amount. So you put the 200 here. See how easy that is? Insurance, there's none of this because this is the form for without kids, okay? Let's say Fred has to buy underwear and socks and whatever, and we've rounded it out. Medical, dental, he broke his tooth last year. He spent, $1,200, so it's $100. Grooming, I don't know, shampoo and whatnot, $50. Entertainment, he bought an app for his phone. He went to the movies. He does that about once a month, $65. Entertainment, gifts, he spends, let's say $50. Okay, religious organizations, and let's go down here. And if there's other expenses, you put them here. Let's say Fred has a Bank of America card, and let's say he pays $400 a month. All right, now there are his average His total, excuse me, total monthly expenses. All right, watch, the form does the math for you. Okay, let's say he spent $1,000 a month. Now it's that. Okay, so the form does the math for you. Let's say he pays 500. Let's say he pays, I don't know. Most people are paying around that. All right, now this is the interesting part here. If you want to do some math of your own or explain something, you can type it here. You know, these are approximations. Okay, I've already said that a few times in here. You don't need to do that, but if you wanted to explain something, you could. All right, so if you take a look, his incoming does not meet his outgoing. So there's a little negative here. The negative you'd put down here because that's the deficit every month. So most people are actually about $300-400 in the hole every month. If he was in the positive, let's say his rent is $500, you know, and he spends only $100 a month in food. He's a couponer. All right, so those are his monthly expenses. Right now, he's got a surplus. See, there's no minus there. So the surplus would not go here. It would go here, 710. Okay, there's your surplus. Done. Now, for the assets and liabilities, remember the rule I gave you. The amount, the cost, the number is not as important as what it is. So, for example, if he's got a profit-sharing plan or an IRA and he doesn't put it here, the judge might get mad at him. They might accuse him of fraud. He's trying to hide the IRA. But if he puts down IRA, okay, A with Mr. Slate, value unknown, he's not committing fraud. He just doesn't know the amount. You can always find the amount later. Okay, so cash on hand, let's say he's got $500, and you can put that here. If you want to, check the box. Just fill this in. There's places to write anything you want. Be as detailed as you humanly can, but don't go crazy. I mean, don't make yourself nuts. All right. Liabilities, same thing. Put what it is. You know, the amounts, a lot of these amounts fluctuate. Auto loans fluctuate. Credit card accounts, interest fluctuates. Okay, Fred did say he had a Bank of America card. How much do you owe, Fred? I owe $5,000, give or take, so put the $5,000. You know, and I've already said some figures may be approximations, so we know it's an approximate, and look, it's down here. If you put a whole bunch of things, it'll do the math for you. Contingent assets and liabilities. What is this? I've never heard this before. A contingent asset and a contingent liability is something that may happen in the future. A good example, let's say Fred fell down at Walmart, and his lawyer says the possible recovery is going to be $100,000. You put it there, okay? We all know it's a guess, but you got to put down if there's a lawsuit or something. It'll do the math for you. Contingent liability, a liability is the opposite of an asset. So let's say Fred got sued and he expects to lose $50,000 or whatever, $100,000. He'd put it here, okay? Easy. And then the form's done. You're not going to do a child support guidelines worksheet because there aren't any kids, and that's it. You're finished. The form is done. See how the rest of this is here? All right, then you print it. You're going to sign this form every place that has your name and a line above it. Okay? Any place that has your name and the line above it. If it's got this thing for the notary, you put it in. Remember what I told you earlier about the dates and that one section? Leave these blank if you don't know if you're going to get to a notary on time. But if you are, just put in the date. Okay? See how there's a name and a line above it? He's going to sign here with the notary. He's also going to sign here that he and certify that he sent it through service of process or whatever. Okay? Email address is here. If he has a secondary, he can put it here, and you're done. All right? If you have any questions, go ahead and use the blog or email me. I'll get back to you as soon as I can. Good luck.